Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another ReZero episode reaction. Today we're checking out episode number 13 of season 2, which I'm hearing is the half season finale, I guess. While this was airing, it aired the first 13 episodes, took a break, and then came back with the second half. So we're checking out the final episode of that first half right now. So I suspect we're going to get some crazy information, some huge details, something potentially world changing that will maybe call into perspective everything we've seen so far this season. I'm speaking very hyperbolic, of course, but I just cannot wait to see what we get here. This is going to be potentially the most crazy episode yet, because we've got every witch in the one space, in one area right now. That it really just makes you wonder, if Satala isn't dead, how is she in this space that the other dead witches are inhabiting? I guess there's some information regarding the witches that we don't have yet, and how that space that they're all inhabiting within this tea party works. But yeah, we got to learn a lot about Echidna's intentions last episode. We got to learn a lot about the way she works, the way she views the world, the way she views people, and it's not good. And so Subaru now at this point needs to go and make a change. He needs to go and save Beatrice. Well, I think his point is that he wants Beatrice to save herself, but regardless, he's going to do everything in his power to make sure his friends come out of this okay. But what does that mean for Subaru in this space right now, this tea party? I just hope this boy's mind does not break, because if it does, there's no telling what could happen. We were told that in a previous episode. Maybe that was also a lie though, because Echidna did tell us another lie about only one witch being able to inhabit this space at the one time. So yeah, I have no idea what's real, what's not when it comes to Echidna. I don't know what she was telling us that is true, what is bullshit. But we're going to find out. We're going to see just what happens. We're going to have a face-off against Satala perhaps, and hopefully she'll say more than "I love you" this episode. So yeah, I'm going to stop my yapping. We're just going to jump right into this one. If you guys do enjoy, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment letting me know which of these witches is your favorite without spoiling. I don't need to know necessarily why, but it would be nice to learn, your guys' favorites of these witches of deadly sins or whatever. I don't know, the 7 witches. And yeah, we're just going to dive right into this one. Hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when these videos go live. And yeah, season 2 episode 13 of ReZero. Let's go. I just wanted to let you guys know, actually, before we began, I know that I do this a lot lately, and it's probably very annoying when I'm like, let's just get right into this, and then I talk for another minute or two. But a couple of things. One, I haven't even started the edit for episode 12 yet before checking this out, so I haven't uploaded that video yet. So, if you guys are leaving comments in relation to the bridge between that episode and this one, I just won't see those in time. I'm checking out the episode like several days before I upload this video. So if I really missed the ball in the previous episode, if I really just dropped the ball and didn't understand something, I know that I can do that sometimes. Another thing that I just wanted to share, just in case it shows up in camera, my arms, especially my right arm, is peeling pretty bad right now, because I was at the beach not long ago, and I'm Irish, as I put in these titles, and Irish people are not really the kind that take to the sun very well. So yeah, when the sun touches me, I burn and then I peel. So if you see any skin peel, I apologize. I know it's kind of ugly and disgusting. There's nothing really I can do about it. So yeah, we're just going to check this one out, and I just wanted to give you guys those 2 heads up just in case. So let's go. Here we go. All those barriers. Oh shit, okay, Castle of Dreams. Is this the souls of the witches that have somehow lived on, but the bodies are gone? Is that what's happening? Barriers though. For so very long, 400 plus years perhaps. That's crazy. Yeah, we need to learn more. Yeah, seriously. But you can't fix everything without return by death? That's the thing? But you can't. Bring her with us. She can help us. She can restore us. You gotta let other people experience things, yeah. I wouldn't go that far, but I do understand the thinking, I understand the logic. Ungrateful to her for giving us an authority? What is happening? I mean, without her you'd be dead all the way back in that room with Old Man Rom. Hurt? Huh. Oh, that's actually... Oh my god. That changes everything. It shouldn't. Yeah. Oh, people care. People care. You're even seeing the people who care. You shouldn't be using your life. You should simply be looking at return by death. Yeah, Rem is gone. You should be looking at it as a last resort opposed to just something you should be using. You did everything you could, and that's the sad reality. He is so destroyed. This poor child. Well, it's just said child, and then she said you're not a child. Kind of is. Like... Who are all of you? Like, well, I know who you are, literally, but you know what I mean? Pride? Oh, shit. What are you gonna do, Typhon? Has your mind snapped? Did you bite off your own tongue? Oh my god. Yes, seriously. Why? What? But you can't... You can't die in this place, so no? Oh shit, Sloth? Minerva's too good. She's much too sweet. That's what I tried to say a little earlier, yeah. He uses his life as a bargaining chip to help others, and it is really sad. That's awful, that's so sad. Oh. Julius. Going through the 2 trials. But what happens now that you die in that place? Yes, Ram. Is it going to be the voice of Ram that rings through? I don't want you to die either, boy! Did she bring us back? Did our minds start to break there? What? How did she bring us back when the other witches were so against her doing so? That is so awful, Subaru. I'm so upset that you're still mentally here. And I understand it's because Rem is gone and Rem was keeping you stable. Of course they like you. You've changed so much for everyone. Is she crying? Aww. Yeah, I really don't think she's bad. I just don't understand. Like, there's so many legends about this witch. Oh, this big bad evil witch. Segment standing. Really? He does have a lot of love. He does. He loves these people. Damn, the witches are actually not all bad at all. Oh. What is he to everyone here, though? Everyone has been touched by Natsuki Subaru. I just hope that the only one with ulterior motives is Echidna. Yeah. No. Nope. Nope. Not happening. She's such an interesting character because, like I said in the previous one, she's not evil, but she just isn't thoughtful of others, and that's making her look monstrous, as Subaru said. No more death. Are we not gonna die anymore? Yep. That's what we've been wanting all along. You could say greedy all you want, but you're the one who wants him to do this, and he doesn't want to. You know, I'm glad he can admit that. She gonna smile now? That spell? I love that comment on, I don't want you thinking I was the only evil one. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Carmela. Thank you everyone for everything you did. You all kind of, I hope, brought Subaru out of a slump that I didn't see him coming out of. That there's no doubt. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? It won't be easy, but it's just like being a normal person. Nobody else dies several times. That's true. Oh, Oh, we're fracturing. We took her hand as well. Are you telling us that those realities were true? That really would have happened, like, did happen? Where? To kill me? No. No, Sadler. Yep, there it is. He's gonna see the sounds that make you want to cry. Jeez. Petrasche! Oh, the best girl. Oh, oh, she knew. Oh. Petrasche cares so much. Leave him alone, Petrasche is saying. You can understand Petrasche. Because she cares about you, silly goose. You've done that for us as well. Aww. When will we start to see that Petrasche loves us? The tear. It's the timing, yeah. But also he's realized that he can be loved, you know, like, yeah. Oh, even a land dragon. I don't like saying even a land dragon. Petrasche is a character in herself, and there's no doubt about it. Is that the first? Was he the first to acknowledge that they're friends in this line? Oh, he's being rejected. She removed it from us. She removed the ability. So this is what it's like to be rejected. We need to support the shit out of Amelia now. That's why Petrasche came in. She sensed that it was rejected from us. Or taken from us. Don't run in there. We're going to see Roswaal with makeup on. First time all season. What's with that? Ah, so Roswaal's... Yep. He's learning from the way we're talking now. Okay, so we're actually just outright talking now. Wow, this is the most flamboyant he's been all season. Yep, that's what I've been saying. Well, I don't know if that's pretty toxic. We need to love ourselves as well as loving others, not putting people first or second. Oh, the makeup is gone. What was that about? It's a spell? You're worried that you're not going to be the one to make it to the next stage? He's got a lot of resolve. That's not great. Nah, that's not true. Roswaal, this is dog shit advice. Why do you look like a character from Code Geass right now? Wow. He's literally telling you to throw your humanity away just so that you can push things forward. That's not the way to look at things, Subaru. That we have? Oh. You're the one that said that, right? That's what you're going to tell us? Oh, beat his ass. I knew it. Ah, Roswaal. Yep, this is not the first time that you have been responsible for people dying. It was in the book? Nah, that's bullshit. We can see it both with Beatrice. Beatrice is the secret. Someone needs to throw hands with Roswaal right now. Ram, where are you? Ram, you're not okay with this, surely. What? Enchanted by those eyes 400 years ago? You're 400 years old. Okay, I did think that might be the case, but we've got that confirmation. Isolation. Is Roswaal like an archbishop, perhaps? Or is the eyes he's talking about the dragons? Oh my god. It won't do anything. Nope, it's not happening. Roswaal's dropped all his flamboyancy. Nah, screw you. Yeah, that's the sad part. He actually... Yeah, it's quite the opposite. And Ram, why Ram? You killed Ram. So if you feel that way and you still could kill Ram... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Roswaal is the bad ending. Keep that true. Make that stay true. Rush back to the mansion. Get to Beatrice. Have Beatrice pull you back there. Save everyone. That's it. That's the only future I can think of. Oh, this is a lot. This is a lot. Oh my god. Thank you, Otto. Our friend. Wait, did he just float down? Oh shit, okay. Otto's gonna be our stabilizer here. I love this. It used to be Ram, and now we're gonna learn to depend on others. And still he wants to be your friend, and still he is your friend. Absolutely. Thank you for recognizing it. Oh, Otto. Everything is not over. Everything is not lost. We've got time. Time is on our side. It's not a lot of time, but we do have time. Jeez, things I was not expecting from Otto. A big strong right. Aww. Otto, you're such a goofball, but I love you. Thank you for knocking some sense into him. I hope that you knocked some sense into him anyway. That was both. I say both. That was 3 different things. That was 1, super insightful and super eye-opening. 2, terrifying, scary, horrifying, and then 3, like really nice. Like it just had so much that yeah, this was a really well put together episode. This story is really well thought out, and yeah, I'm glad we've got Otto. The scene with the witches was super interesting and super insightful, but then that scene with Roswaal was terrifying, and that was awful. And oh, I yeah, Roswaal, just Roswaal. You know, Roswaal. I've been saying since the first time we saw him, I do not trust him. I can't imagine I'm the only person to ever feel that way, but man, he is on a different level entirely. And that was the first half finale for season 2, ReZero. Wow. That was a lot. It gave me just about everything I wanted from this half, considering where we were building up to, what was, kind of happening, and everything that we experienced this half of the season. I definitely got the answers I was looking for without giving me too much, but also got the kind of content I was looking for. I'm so glad it's out in the open now that Roswaal is not to be trusted. I can finally actually just full on jump on the Roswaal hate train, because holy shit, that man is unhinged. He is insane, as he's self-proclaimed himself to be, ever since he stared into those two eyes 400 years ago. Whose eyes were they, perhaps? So many questions about what that could mean. The fact that Roswaal is living after 400 years. There is always the potential that anytime there is a mention of a character that is 400 plus years old, there is always the potential that they were one of the few in the party that sealed away Satella. That's always a potential. Whether that's the case or not with Roswaal, I have no idea, because who then would have given Roswaal this affliction or whatever it is that he has? Would it have been Satella herself as she was being sealed away? Maybe it was the dragon. After they all sealed away Satella, the dragon kind of went into business for itself and did some shit to the other people that were part of this. With Roswaal, took away his sanity, perhaps. With the I don't know who else it would have been, like the siege or whatever. Maybe it did something there with the siege. Like, who knows? Maybe the dragon truly did something, thinking that it would be for the best of everyone, that it would maybe take away the memories or something that would stop them from being able to remember this moment or anything else at all. There's no proof for that whatsoever, so I'm not going to hark on it much longer, but there's always that thought in my head when 400 plus years is mentioned. Were they part of the group that sealed Satella? But also, the fact that he's more than 400 years old, is he also perhaps some sort of great spirit? Because he's talking about having no humanity and stuff. His humanity, the human heart, is a terrible thing that holds you back. So that would imply that he is not human. So is he perhaps a great spirit? Is he perhaps like Betelgeuse, in the sense that he's an archbishop, and because of that reason alone he's able to live a longer life, he's able to live on so long as the soul or whatever it is, the authority resides within him? Is there something like that? Is he the authority of greed? Guess we'll have to wait and see, because none of those answers are given. There's no indication whatsoever as to Roswaal's past here, apart from the fact that he mentioned 400 years ago he lost his sanity staring into those two eyes. But anyway, like, we're going to go back to the start of this episode and kind of just talk about it in the order that it came. So we start the episode with, of course, Satella being asked how she got here through the barriers and everything. So it's a question that I was wondering at the beginning, and I did ask, how did she get here when she's not dead but the others are? And that's how it's been described to us. So that's now why I'm thinking that this is related to their souls. The souls inhabit this space and not the actual witch themselves. Or maybe that makes no sense. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway, Satella is able to get through the defenses anyway, the barriers. So why were these barriers up to keep Satella out? It very much seems like Echidna might be the only one with a problem with Sadala, though I don't really know. It just didn't feel like any of the others had any problem with her whatsoever. And Echidna obviously wants Subaru for herself, and Sadala would only get in the way of that and interfere with the plans that she's trying to make. So maybe that's why she doesn't want Sadala here, and why she maybe, if it is the case, maybe why she's the one that put up these barriers. And it would make sense that Echidna is responsible for this space, because we know that she can create places from memories. We have seen her do that several times. So the natural thought is that she has created this space too, this castle of dreams, perhaps, this tea party for the witches. And of course, she's continuing with the same nonsense that she was spouting a few episodes back, where she's telling us that she loves us, she loves us, she loves us, she loves us. She's just saying that yet again, but this time she's saying for so long. So that would imply that since 400 plus years ago, she has loved us specifically. And how does that work without some time shenanigans? There's obviously this question of Sadala and Amelia, like, is there some sort of crossover between those two? Is Sadala the Amelia from the future who has somehow gone to the past 400 years? Like, there's obviously more going on than I know. I don't have any of those answers, and so that's really upsetting and frustrating to me that we didn't get more regarding that stuff this episode, because that's the stuff that I'm most interested in right now. I want to know all about Sadala. I want to know all about 400 years ago. Like, I love a good flashback, and I cannot wait to get those flashbacks. And even if it's 5 seasons down the line, I cannot wait. We are so ready for it. Maybe we're not, though. And yeah, it now that I think about it, it does almost seem like Sadala, maybe that's full, maybe I'm full of shit, but at least the beginning of this episode, maybe not the other episode. The other episode, she just wanted to say she loved Subaru over and over and over again, but she was also then saying love me. So it had me thinking like she wanted that love reciprocated. And now I'm kind of wondering what she meant. Does she actually want us to love her? Because she kind of like indicates in this episode that she wants us to love herself rather than her. But regardless of that, this episode anyway, the beginning, it does look like she's going to say more, but Subaru kind of cuts her off every time. She's saying, I love you. I've loved you for so long. And Subaru immediately is cutting her off. So he doesn't let her say what she might end up saying that will lead us to any answers or anything at this point. So at this point, I'm kind of like, damn it, Subaru, come on. Like, I know I understand this is traumatic and terrible, but like my curiosity, it needs to be sated. Like, come on, let me get some answers. But no, I feel awful truly for this young boy right here. He has been put through hell. He has said it himself. He's been walking through hell. And yeah, it's actually like so funny, like looking back now. I know that it's terrible, and in the moment my mind was focused on Subaru and worrying about him. But when you think about it, it's kind of funny that Subaru just immediately is like, I've had it with both of you. Echidna, Sadala, stop. I'll find a way to do this all myself. Like, he really just at this point is done with both of them, because yeah, for the previous episode, Echidna, she's quite monstrous in her thinking and her logic and how little she thinks about others, and that's what's making me think she's the reason these half beasts even exist maybe in the first place. She maybe created them, and like I said in the previous episode, I think that Puck might be a part of that. I think that if the reason Puck isn't here with us is because of Puck's connection to both Amelia and Echidna, then that's why he's been gone for this half of the season so far. So my thinking now is that she created Puck and maybe tried to use Puck as like a template for other beasts, but maybe things didn't go that way, or maybe things kind of evolved and went in different directions, and then, you know, those beasts, you know, were able to have human appearances, and, you know, they're bipedal and just everything like that. Like, I'm thinking that maybe Echidna, since she has created this sanctuary and trapped these beasts in this area, her experimentation grounds, there's a reason for it, and maybe that reason is that she is the reason these beasts even exist to begin with. I don't like calling them beasts. That feels very undermining and very unfair and just mean. But I just don't know what else I can use to refer to them as. But then, of course, we get... I really don't know her that well at this point, but Minerva is quickly becoming one of my favorites. I love her passion, and I love how much she cares about these things. And she's so full of passion and emotion that she acts out, she lashes out, and she reacts very quickly because she knows herself and she knows what she wants and she knows everything that she holds true to her values. And I think that it's just really nice seeing her immediately lash out and react on a whim, because she does it a couple of times in this episode. She acts out immediately when Subaru says he's going to do everything himself, and she's like, what, you're just going to keep dying? You're not thinking about others. And yeah, I agree. He has been thinking about others. He's been thinking about himself. He's been very selfish in that sense. But obviously, you can't give him shit for being selfish when a lot of the times he does do these things to help and save others. So it's this really weird grey area where this question of his selfishness is kind of called into doubt and kind of called into question, I guess is the better way to say that. But regardless of that anyway, he does have to realize that even in dying over and over and over again, people are hurting, people are crying, as Minerva says here, and people are being put through the hurt, even if he isn't thinking about that, and in his mind he's fixing things. He's not fixing things for anyone but himself, because he does not know for sure that these other versions of these people that he knows and loves don't continue living in those lives without him, hurting because he's dead and just going through all that pain because of it. And I think it's really interesting that it's Minerva here in this situation that speaks to Subaru, because it just goes to show a lot about her character, that she cares about others. That's her whole thing, you know, Wrath. You would think that Wrath would be someone full of rage, but no, this version of Wrath in this story I think is a really interesting one, because Wrath, while both being the cause for war, is also the one who wants to stop it and the one who wants to heal everyone, help everyone. So she's a very interesting character where she can easily play both sides. She can tip the scales on either side very easily. She can be the reason for a war breaking out, or she can be the reason for a war ending. And in this instance, she is taking the side of pushing against harm, hurt, and everything like that. And she kind of does say that that's what she wants. She doesn't want anyone to suffer or anything like that's kind of her whole thing. So she kind of speaks for everyone else here to Subaru, because nobody else will kind of speak to him about how others feel through all of this. And she shoves it in his face saying, basically, as Subaru himself asks, are you trying to say that I'm a tragic hero? I'm putting this title on myself and pretending to be that, pretending that I'm suffering more than anyone else, because that's kind of what she ends up saying to him. But then the most confusing thing that Minerva ends up saying here is, you're being ungrateful to her, in reference to Satla. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to understand this. I don't know if it's in reference to getting her authority, you know, returned by death and everything, or what. But like, yes, there is obviously, as Subaru does, like, need to thank Satla here, because otherwise we would have died back in episode 1, and that would have, can't even speak, that would have been the end of it. There would be no more ReZero, no more Subaru, and that would be everything. We would simply have died, and that was it. So we do have Satellite thank for this, but also she has sucked us in here out of our own world or our own life. I know that Subaru was super depressed, so this has been a great thing for him, but he's still going through a lot. He's still depressed a lot of the time, and he's still experiencing all this hardship. So it's almost hard to kind of forget the fact that this is supposed to be a happier, better place for him. Like, yes, it can be, but it hasn't been for a little bit, and it isn't necessarily great for him a lot of the times. Like, I do think that he is in a better place, but it's really, really just hard to see him go through everything he's going through and kind of compartmentalize everything and like shove everything down. It's not good. So Sadla and Subaru kind of start to talk to one another, but also not really. Like, Subaru is screaming at her and she's just saying, you need to love, love, love. And Subaru's like, what are you talking about? I cannot love you. I don't even know you. Why does this have to be the way? Why are you so obsessed with me loving you? What's the deal? And she simply says, you need to love yourself. And that's very true. That's the biggest thing Subaru needs to learn. He needs to learn to love himself. And I think that's a big part of what the first trial was. While, yes, the first trial showed him a future where he could say goodbye and everything, the biggest thing I think he had to learn was to love himself. That's what he can learn, because he got an insight into his past and how sad and depressed he was. And now all he can really do is learn to love himself and grow and be a better person because of it. And I do love the sentiment from Satala. Sorry, I'm moving my microphone. I realized it was a little off. I love this sentiment and the way Satala kind of just says here, I want you to treasure yourself more. And it's kind of speaking to how much he means to her. You know, he means so much to her that she wants him to be better for it. She wants him to be happy because she knows how much he suffers. And that's making me think maybe if there are some time shenanigans stuff, maybe Emilia eventually learns everything that Subaru goes through. Maybe Emilia learns that Subaru has gone through so much. This is, again, once again, under the assumption that Emilia and Satala are the same, which a lot of you guys are kind of trying to lean me into the thought that that is not the case. But, you know, for the sake of theorizing, I'm just going to play out a scenario. So the scenario being that Emilia, like I said, sees Subaru suffering and eventually learns about what he does for others. You know, trying to sacrifice himself and everything and not loving himself, not valuing his own life. And so she somehow sends her conscience back 400 years to the moment where Satala was sealed. But then there's also the thought that maybe at some point, because there's probably some connection between Emilia and Satala, one that I don't necessarily fully understand yet, maybe because of that connection, Satala has access to Emilia's memories. And so that's why she's able to, and why she does, you know, mess about with Subaru, etc. Like, well, not mess about, well, you know, protect him, want to save him, all of this. But that doesn't make sense because she does say she's loved him for a long time. So I think I'm already disproving my own theory, but there's just a thought there. There's an idea. And the reason she gave him Return by Death isn't so that he would use it as a bargaining chip almost, like something that he could just throw his life away and it would be okay, because that's not what she wanted. She wanted him to love himself. She wanted him to be able to protect himself. She didn't want him to die. She didn't want him to lose his life or anything. So she gave him this power. But sadly, he's been looking at it from the wrong point of view. He's been looking at it as something he can use, opposed to something that he should never have to use, but is there as a safeguard anyway. And Subaru, with a really interesting kind of perspective, puts another spin on this, where he's saying that if he can prevent others from hurting, if he can prevent others from dying, then he will do it. He will do what he has to in order to reset that pain and suffering that they're feeling. You know, he's thinking about undoing all of that and resetting it to the point where it's only him that has to shoulder that feeling. But it's not him being fair to himself. And he ends up saying that this is all because he couldn't protect Rem. He couldn't do anything whatsoever. He thought he could. He thought he did everything, but it wasn't enough. He sent Rem away and now she is gone. I think it's really interesting then when Typhon kind of comes up to him and he's like, who hurt you? You know, like, I want to help you type of deal, but she is a crazy child. She will kill anyone and everything that gets in her path. And so I don't know how to trust her, especially after the first meeting with her. But anyway, she does seem to care about his feelings. Maybe she cares about the fact that he's hurting. And that's when Satala goes up to him and says, I love you yet again. And that's when Subaru bites his tongue off. Very brutal and very awful, but, you know, it's the only way he can think to escape the situation, I guess. You know, he immediately jumps into, I need to take my own life mindset, which he kind of has a lot, where he just treats his own life like it's nothing because he knows he'll come back anyway. But this could have been very dangerous, maybe, potentially. Who knows? how Return by Death would have worked here. And everyone has different feelings about this, where, you know, Subaru wants to do this, and so Typhon recognizes that, and Typhon's like, no, he chose this, he wants to do this, so let him do it. Don't interfere, because Minerva is trying to stop him. So they're trying to keep Minerva away. Sekhmet and Typhon both try to stop Minerva from interfering here, and Sekhmet is able to kind of use gravity here to keep her down, and everyone's very much surprised by what is happening here. But Sekhmet agrees with Typhon, you know, let his emotions be his emotions, and let him do what he wants with those, because yeah, I feel sorry for the guy. Like, it's that kind of mindset. And that's when we get a super interesting quote from Satla, where she says, when will you realize that you should be included among the ones that you wish to see him? At least I think it's Satla that says this anyway. Subaru doesn't think of himself as being worth saving in those instances. Obviously, Subaru has never done anything necessarily for himself. Like, you can play that argument that he is being selfish, but he doesn't want those people he loves to die. And that's okay. Like, nobody wants that. You don't want that. I don't want that. So he's doing what he can and what he knows he can do, which is a terrible ability, in order to go back and try and save them and fix things and make it so that they don't disappear forever. So then Sadla also asks what we experienced during those two trials. And I thought that that was then why he started seeing visions of his time during those two trials. But realistically, what ended up happening here was Carmilla, I think, she ends up using her Faceless Bride, I think it's called, I guess, to keep the others away from him. And she also then uses an ability that let him see the visions of those he loves and hear the things he needed to hear. So that kind of snapped him back to a better place, and it brought him to a better mental space, because he was broken mentally right up until this point, and so much so that he took his own life by biting his tongue off. Absolutely brutal. But that's when we come back to Minerva bringing us back, and Satla sitting there with her, and we learn that the others were stopped. Daphne even intervened and stopped Typhon from getting in the way. So there was like this little scuffle, this almost civil war between the witches, where some of them wanted to allow Subaru to go through what he was going through because that's what he chose, whereas others were like, no, he is not in a great place and we need to help him out here, and yeah, we can't just sit by idly and let him die. He needs to be able to value his life. He needs to be able to do these things that he needs to do for himself. Like, we can't just waste that. Like, I think it was a really interesting perspective, I guess, where, you know, the whole idea is he cannot learn to love himself and be better if we allow this to continue, you know? So that's why they stop it. And Sadlis shares that he saved her, and so she wants to return that favor. So yeah, it's just the whole time thing is making this all so convoluted. I don't know where this starts and ends when it comes to the time. Is it the literal Subaru, or is it someone that he represents, someone that almost like a reincarnation thing? Like, I don't have a clue. And so Subaru gets up and he starts to realize all these things, you know, like everything that people have been saying, everything that he's learned here. It's really ringing true to him that he understands now he needs to value his life. He can't just return by death so much. And I think that that's going to be a great point to see going forward. I'm sure we're going to see him die again. Like, I don't think this was the last time we saw him die. I really don't, because I feel like there's going to be a huge roadblock in the future that will set him back. Do I think he's going to repeat or anything? Not so much. I think he's going to come at things with a better perspective, a better plan, and, you know, kind of put things into perspective, put things into an order in order to advance the best way possible, where he lives and those that he loves and cares about live as well. But he probably won't be as dependent on return by death. Like, if something bad happens, he might not return by death so long as those that he loves are still alive. They can suffer and experience things, and Subaru doesn't have to reset it, that they never suffer ever. And yes, Subaru basically then turns down Echidna's final offer to form a contract. she wants to do this and she will help him pave a path forward, one where he can get the answers that he needs and one where he can reach the best possible future, and she will help him do that. But after everything for the previous episode, I am not surprised whatsoever that Subaru said no here. Even though, like I was saying in the previous episode, post-episode talk, I was like, oh, she's so evil, 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 evil. I think it's really interesting because she's kind of this morally evil character, but not necessarily like evil, evil. Like, she isn't a great person. She does some awful things, but she hasn't really done anything super harmful to the world or anything. Just, I say just to certain characters and stuff, that's still awful, but yeah, I think she's such an interesting character that it would be hard to kind of psychoanalyze her and kind of hard to pin her down into one of two ships. Is she good or bad? It's much more than that when it comes to Echidna here. And I think it's so funny that she calls him greedy here. And yeah, I guess his line of thinking is a little greedy, but also not really. I think this is the first time that he's actually thinking about himself. So I don't think it's greedy to finally think about yourself and put some value on your own life. I don't think that's the case. So Echidna's being very playful and she's just being a sore loser, and she even admits that later on, where she says, when she's talking about Garth, she's like, yeah, I'm just being a sore loser because you got me. Now you're gonna go on thinking that I'm the only evil witch, the others were all good, blah blah blah. I think that shit's so funny. I really do think Echidna is such a fun, charismatic character, and she is just so full of character. Like, she's so well written and fleshed out, even though we haven't seen too much of her even within this season. But she's a really great one to have around. I'm so glad that we got to spend time with her this season. I hope this isn't the end when it comes to Echidna. I hope we get to meet her a lot more in the future, because she is very, very fun to be around, very interesting. But I'm not a fan of the way she does things. I hate the way Beatrice has suffered for so long because of her, and I'm sure she's not the only one. These people in the sanctuary as well, they now some of them don't even want to leave because it's the natural order of things that they're in here, but really it's just an experiment from Echidna. For some reason, she is trapping them all in here as part of an experiment. But why are their souls removed from their bodies when they leave? What's that about? And Subaru, the great guy that he is, thanks Echidna for everything. Despite all the shit she's pulled and trying to manipulate him and trying to lead him into, situations where she gets what she wants, he appreciates and thanks her for saving him as many times as she has. Because she has honestly helped us a lot. She's helped us so much, even if it's been for her own good. She has known when to help, but when to help herself in the process, I guess. But it's only now that Subaru has seen Beatrice. If he had not gone to Beatrice and learned about Beatrice those few episodes ago, or a couple episodes ago, I don't think he would have turned her down when she asked for a contract. I think that was honestly the only reason that this didn't go through. So he does still have a lot of thanks, but he does still have a lot to be wary of, and I think that that's very clear here. And so Echidna says that Garth fears the outside world. So maybe he came here intentionally, and then she says that he won't, what is it? I'll find the exact quote. To free him from his circumstances, you'd have to break that spell. So I'm guessing the spell is in relation to the barrier, and he would never have the option, he would never have a choice but to leave, unless the spell was removed, the barrier was removed. That's what I'm thinking she means here. But yeah, she calls him a stupid fool, and I wonder what that's about, because obviously he underwent the trial as well, and he is also a disciple or apostle, I can't remember what the word was, of greed. So whatever it was that he failed, and he never tried it again, probably, she sees him as a complete failure, and she just doesn't have anything nice to say about him, and that's what we see here. And so she touches him right here then, and that's probably when she removes her, I don't know if it's an authority that she has on him, or the apostlness, discipleness, whatever. I don't really know. But there's only really one option now that I can think of if Amelia doesn't go through this trial. And I think Subaru should be there with her to push her and to help her. If she is not the one to do it, it's going to be Garth. And that will be super interesting to see. Subaru, you know, basically calls them monsters and is like, I don't think I could ever like any of you, even though me a viewer, I really do like these characters because they're so interesting to me. But he's like, yeah, I don't think I could ever like you, but thank you for allowing me to die. Thank you for saving me, and thank you for everything you guys did, including, you know, Carmela using her authority. So he's very thankful, and he thanks every single one of them and everything that they did. And I love that about Subaru. He never lets these situations go, you know, unthanked. He always thanks those. Even when he doesn't like them, he'll still thank them. He thanked Julius despite not liking him at all. You know, like it shows you a lot about his character. And Subaru himself realizes return by death is an option. It's a choice. It's not something he has to do, something he needs to. It's an option that is there to him. And so he needs to learn to not use that so much so that he can start to love himself. And that I think that will be a great character arc and character growth moment for him, seeing him evolve into his role without the need for return by death, because he's reckless knowing that he can just reset things. Sadler asks Subaru, are you going to be okay? And Subaru's like, compared to dying, this is nothing. So I love that. I think it's such a, that's my Subaru. That's my Subaru right there. My Subaru is not the Subaru that we saw these past 5 or so episodes. My Subaru is the one who pulls out these wisecrack, you know, little moments, and he has a smile on his face, and he's not sad and depressed. Like, I know that sounds awful considering everything he goes through, but yeah, I feel like we're back to form here. I feel like we're returning to form, rather, even despite what we see later on this episode with Roswaal. Oh my god, I haven't even got to that yet. Sadler takes Subaru's hand as they stand up, and this is almost like the palm on palm thing, like a contract almost, but I don't think that's what happened here. But you know, it's really just interesting that he doesn't take Echidna's hand whatsoever, but he takes Sadler's, recognizing that Sadler has actually done a lot for him, even if it's not something he's used in a healthy manner. Sadler then also says to him, hey, fight with the people you like, fight with the people you love, and, you know, remember, there are always people who will mourn you, miss you, and cry and be sad that you're gone. So in my mind, this is like her basically giving us that answer as to whether they continue their lives in the worlds where he's dead. I feel like she's basically saying they do. So in Subaru's mind, he doesn't want anyone to be in that position. He doesn't want anyone else to have to experience that where he dies in front of them, someone that loves and cares about Subaru. So Sadler wants Subaru to continue living with those people, no matter what it takes. And then she asks for Subaru to return to kill her. And that's awful. That's so sad, because we just had these really lovely moments. She wants him to love her, but she also wants him to kill her. This is very much similar to Beatrice. It's very similar. But this time, it's someone who maybe has been waiting 400 years for Subaru, literally specifically, to come kill her. And I don't know what suffering she's experienced in these 400 years, but yeah, we know what Beatrice has been through, and Beatrice has a warped mind about the whole experience these past 400 years, so that's why she thinks she needs to die, basically. Whereas with Sadler, we don't know where her mind is, we don't know what she's gone through, so the reason for this is still very interesting and very unknown, and I hope that we get those answers eventually. Like, I don't know if we'll get them anytime soon. But Subaru once again says, I am going to save you, and that speaks once again true to his character, his core, his beliefs, his morality, and his values, everything he holds dear. He will not let someone he sees right in front of him crying die, or someone he sees right in front of him crying suffer. He will do what it takes to help them and to save them. And I think that's what we're going to see as the series continues. We're going to see Subaru go out of his way to continue to help those that he loves and cares about without putting his life in danger, without disregarding his own life. And so then we get like this sweetest scene that all, like, it had me tearing up. Petrasche. I love this girl so much. Petrasche is just, oh, she's everything. I love Petrasche. She literally ran in there and pulled us out because we were still in there. She shook herself loose from her reins, her whatever she was tied up with or whatever. She shook herself loose and ran in there and pulled out Subaru because Subaru had been rejected from the trial, and she sensed that he was in danger, and she ran in there, put her own life in danger. That's the craziest thing. She could have been killed, but she ran in there and she pulled us out because she loves us. She cares about us. The bond between Petrasche and Subaru is one of my favorites in this whole series. She puts herself in a dangerous way so much for this boy. And I just think it's beautiful. I am so glad that, as Subaru says in this scene, I never thought you would be the first that I learned this from, when he says, wow, you actually like me, huh? Like, of course it was Petrasche. She is baby. She is so sweet. She is adorable. She is everything. And of course, Otto's there too. Otto's there to be a friend. And Otto's there to translate for Petrasche because he can speak to the animals and everything. I really think Otto's such an interesting and fun character. And I love his role within this episode a lot. But yeah, she is the best. Petrasche is the best. And I cannot wait to see more Petrasche content. And in this line, world, whatever it is, Subaru is the one to say that you're my friend to Otto first. And I think that is something that Otto wanted to hear. Like, obviously he wanted to hear it because he considers that, but he probably has his doubts or worries that Subaru doesn't see him that way. So Subaru says it here, and Otto just like blushes immediately and gets almost flustered because he doesn't know what to say, and it's very adorable. I think that Otto and Subaru can be and will be great friends going forward, and I really do think that that's going to be one of the highlights of the series, because Subaru is learning that he can rely and depend and lean on Otto here, and that's something that he has not been able to do with anyone since Rem left. And yeah, I think that Otto will fill a great role for him, but Subaru needs to let others in on that. He can't just depend on one person. He has learned that the hard way. Subaru thought this meant he passed the second trial though, now that he was out of there, but that is not the case. He did not pass the trial at all. He had his right and authority, you could say, to participate in this remote. I was almost saying removed and revoked at the same time. I said removed. It was being revoked and removed from him, so he cannot participate. And he learns that when he tries to enter, and he ends up spewing up water. It looks like he throws up anyway. So thankfully he didn't stay in there any longer than, you know, Roswaal did, because Roswaal is in such a bad shape because he tried to participate in the trial but he was rejected. So Subaru gets to the entrance, feels it, and immediately walks away, which I'm glad, because I thought he was going to go right back in there by the end of this scene with Otto, because he asks Otto and Petrasche to leave so that he can go take care of something. Thankfully that's not the case, and he doesn't go back in. Instead he goes to the biggest frustrating character in the whole series right now. He goes to Roswaal, because Roswaal is someone he can learn a lot of information from and someone who's very important. But Roswaal, this guy right here, he wants Subaru to be like him, and that will never happen. And now I'm thinking back, like, this is really just random. I'm thinking back to like a while ago where I was like, are we going to get answers to like literally everything, like why Roswaal wears makeup, what is the deal with his makeup, how does, you know, all of this here, because we saw that he can remove and apply it whatever he wants. And it seems like he's got two personalities here. He's got Roswaal the clown and Roswaal the asshole, right? So Roswaal the clown speaks all, you know, like very flamboyant, whereas Roswaal the asshole is just an asshole. He will do whatever it takes. He will do whatever in order to push forward. He's lost his humanity. He's got no humanity. He will literally push everyone away. He'll kill whoever it takes in order to get his goals, reach his objectives, whatever he needs to do. And he learns very quickly during this conversation from Subaru that Subaru knows about Roswaal and his relationship. He knows about the fact that Roswaal knows about Subaru, and yeah, he doesn't need to try and hide it. Even when he pulls the book out at one point, Subaru doesn't react whatsoever to it. He simply just watches Roswaal, and Roswaal doesn't really react to his lack of a reaction. But I think that everything Roswaal does is trying to gauge a reaction from Subaru, trying to learn as much as he can from Subaru, because he can't just ask him. I'm not going to go through every line of dialogue here, so if I end up missing something super important, please let me know down below. But basically, Roswaal is basically trying to convince Subaru that he needs to put Emilia first and forget about himself. He needs to do everything for Emilia. He needs to sacrifice himself, sacrifice everything in order to push Emilia forward. And he needs to be Emilia's person, basically. And Subaru's like, well, I can't. I'm no longer able to do the trial. And Roswaal's just like, we can just ask Echidna again. She'll let you do it. After all, she is greed. But after the scene we just had with the witches, where they were all pushing him and encouraging him to put himself first, this scene feels like a slap in the ass. This is such a shithead of a scene to follow that up, because we're getting someone telling you to love yourself more, and telling then the next person you talk to, well, not the next person, but you know what I mean, the next person you have a full-on sit-down conversation with is telling you not to care about your own life. That is dog shit. I hate it so much for Subaru, but I'm so glad Subaru doesn't listen. Even though this is the worst thing he could have done, he learned so much terrible shit here that just makes him just feel so terrible. Roswaal's acting like a grumpy, petty schoolgirl or something at some points, where he's turning away, facing away, like almost looking longingly like, I guess I'm just going to have to keep pushing you, strengthening your resolve, all of this. And Subaru's like, what do you mean strengthening my resolve? I need to get back to the mansion. But Subaru doesn't realize at this point that it was Roswaal who sent those assassins to the mansion. Roswaal's going off on a crazy one. He's like, so long as there's hope, there's possibility. So long as there's possibility, there's like, bro, calm down, slow down. Like, stop. There's no need. Subaru is not going to listen. He is not that character. You're going to have to find someone else. Do this shit yourself, bozo. We are not going to be your toy. We're not going to be your doll to like just place around. But something really interesting as well that he mentions is that two people he cares about, Subaru and Ram. Those are the only two people. But if he cares about Ram so much, he had no problem just throwing her aside, killing her, and just tossing her body aside. And that says a lot about his character. And yeah, Roswaal tells us it was him that set the assassins on the mansion, with this evil, crazy look in his eyes, and Subaru starts losing it. He cannot believe what he's hearing. He trusted Roswaal, and now he knows that Roswaal is the reason that these terrible things are happening. And the reason he's doing it is so that Subaru will forget about them and focus on Emilia, because he cannot be in two places at once. Except he can. And my theory is that he will go to the mansion immediately, super fast, and bring Beatrice and the others with him. He will literally get Beatrice to use her portal and save everyone. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. And I don't know what that means. Are we going to have a big fight with Roswaal in this season or what? Because, yeah, I can't see a path forward where we keep an ally in Roswaal. He is going to have to go down. So yeah, he's a psychopath and he's insane, and Subaru calls that out. And yeah, he literally admits that he's insane. I've already talked about this scene earlier, so I'm not going to really hark on it again. And yeah, I just think it's heartbreaking for Subaru here to hear these words, like, eventually you'll be perfected to be someone who can only save one and nobody else. Like, geez, like, holy shit, that's... Oh, get out of here with that shit, Roswaal. Like, no thank you. So yeah, that scene was just the worst, but it was very insightful and it answered a lot of questions I had. And Subaru leaves feeling disoriented and he runs through the forest, and that's when Otto finds him. And of course Otto's like, hey, we're gonna fix this. You're not down and out just yet. You're at your wit's end, but we're going to pull you back. And yeah, close your eyes. And he smacks him and he knocks some sense into him. And he's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come up with a plan. And yeah, I think that it's really lovely to see this relationship forming between Otto and Subaru. I hope that we get to see that flourish and blossom as the season continues into the next season and everything. But yeah, there's a lot in my mind. This one was really just, this was rough. And yeah, I don't know how you guys waited months for the next episode. I will not be doing that. I will probably be watching another episode in the next few days. But yeah, ask questions down below. I will do my best to answer them. And yeah, forgive me if I didn't talk about everything. My mind is just racing. I'm just like... This was a lot. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. And comment down below letting me know, whoa, what the hell? What the hell just happened? Ask questions. Let me know your favorite witch. And yeah, we're going to wrap this one up. Hit the notification bell so that you're notified when these videos go live. And yeah, I hope that you're having a great day today and that you're able to take it easy. I will see you in the next one. Take care.